have you guys heard of OGS? Is another
Our
YouTube
grandfather
channel.
story.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
They've been doing excellent stuff on they did a whole thing on a couple of hawker stalls, and they probably spent the whole day with them. And the guy would break down his costs, which is what people want to see.
Yeah.
At the emotional element of it too. I thought it was like very, very good storytelling, like relatively unfiltered. So I'm like, okay, how do we? Let's not tell the same story here because we know how tough it is, but we're just here to kind of share and discuss the kind of like cultural phenomena that are shifting and explore ideas maybe. Yeah. So, but yeah, first, why don't we give a little background of Burp Kitchen, where you guys started off, and give everyone an audience a little background like that.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So just a bit about the both of us. So we were never from the F&B industry. So I was actually doing marketing in banks. He was an Air Force regular. So after his 5-year contract ended, we were thinking, so what's next? And so after his contract ended, we were trying to figure out what's next in life. So at that point of time, we were watching a lot of Food Network. So that's when food trucks in the US were coming out. So when we saw that, we were like, hey, we've always wanted, our dream is to road trip US one day, but we will do it in a food truck and sell food along the way. So that was the idea behind that. So we were thinking, right, okay, that would be our retirement plan. So next time when we are in our 50s, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a road trip and have a food truck and do
Document it.
And then, so our friends were running a bar in Papaya in a Gold Ridge, so they had the second floor.
Yeah.
So there was a kitchen downstairs, and they were actually paying just a small fee to rent a little part of the kitchen that they were intending to get someone to run that small little kitchen to supply food to their bar.
Oh wow, okay.
Because the main kitchen downstairs, the food started raw, and people were complaining that the food was not nice and all that. Yeah. So they needed someone to supplement like their whole bar operations. So when so they approached us. They were actually my secondary school friends. So they approached us and say, you know what, we're giving you this opportunity whereby we will cover, if you lose money, we will pay the losses. So when you order your ingredients and all that, and when you sell, if you lose money, we'll cover the losses. If you make money, then you take it. So we're like, no, we don't lose. This is a
bar.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. So we're like, this is a no lose, situation for us. So we said, if we wanted to do F&B in our 50s, might as well do it now. If we fail young, and then we have the rest of our lives to pay back the debt, the time, and everything that we lost.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you guys, no culinary background.
No culinary background. So
were your parents any of them?
No.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So his parents actually ran like Kilini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were franchisees for Kilini. Wow, this was when in the 2000s. Yeah. So my parents they started out doing software sales.
Yeah.
And they were one of the pioneers in LAN gaming in Singapore in the 90s.
Nice.
Yeah, the late 90s. So what killed them back then was home broadband.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone started gaming from home. So it's similar to what the F&B industry is, experiencing right now.
A disruption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my dad back then, my parents, they tilted their focus, and then they saw the opportunity at F&B. So this was the early 2000s.
Early 2000s. And that was with it. And was it just one location, or you guys had several?
The food side was only one location.
Yeah.
So the franchising of the Kilini was...
That's still around today?
No, it was a short-lived thing also.
Yeah. What was what happened there?
Rent. Back then, yes, really the rent. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, I don't know, back then I was too young. I was in my primary school years. So maybe I didn't know really what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one word of advice from my parents back then, and we wanted to start, they said,
I was going to ask,
Yeah, they said don't.
To this day, my dad still says, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Right? The saying goes, use it passion, right?
Yeah.
No, it's actually people that, my dad always says this, people that are forced into it. Okay, like he says, do you really want to work with? He considers himself a pirate always. He considers himself a pirate, right? Do you really want to work with a bunch of ex-convicts? And I'm like, God, times have changed. I was like, there's something called the Food Network has changed things. But I agree with him that it's got to be something that you almost like. I wouldn't say you're cornered into it, but the people that are most successful, a lot of times you hear this story because they kind of had they went into that route because they had no other choice and they had to fight for it, right? But that's what gives them that fire.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So your parents are they like still discouraging you guys from going back now? Are they like, hey, I told you so?
No, they just said, good effort, try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Move on.
So yeah, we're just taking the next step.
Okay, let's take a step. Let's go back to your foundation there. You started with your friend's bar. You're cooking for them. Actually, funny enough, one of my buddies is a part owner of one of the it's called the Joint. It's kind of like a whiskey, one of those like private bars.
Okay.
And a similar idea. They don't have a kitchen.
Yeah.
And so we used to order. It's close to Maxwell, so we just order like McDonald's or order Hawker all the time and bring it up. And it's very distasteful because you have all these people sipping whiskey that costs $1,000, and we're eating like hawker food. And eventually they brought in long story short, they went bankrupt again because of, I think we're going to go into the changing culture, but they would have loved you guys back then because they eventually had like a couple of items, like 3 or 4 items, tapas and stuff like that. But you kind of need it. They saw a need it, but back to the foundation.
Yes.
So you starting off, you mentioned before we started recording, it was going well.
It was going well, but it was short-lived. So we went in February thereabouts. So the whole thing was the golfing range was the landlord for both levels.
Yeah.
So when my friend's bar was a subtenant of the main tenant below. So when the main tenant had to leave because they couldn't keep up the cost and everything, they had to leave as well. So we were only there for about 3 months. And in that 3 months, the sales that we did was 4,000, 6,000, 8,000. So it picked up very fast. So we just on food alone, we were already doing 8,000 a month. So when we had to close that Toa Payoh place, we were thinking for the both of us, it was just 3 months, so it's very fresh, right? So we still had that fire, and we're like, hey, people like our food, so we just need to find another location, open it there, and then see how it goes. So that's when we found the Bedok Reservoir outlet. So that was in 2015, thereabouts. So we went in there and we expanded the menu, and then our friends who had the bar arm, so they supported in the drinks, so the beverage, cocktails and everything. So that's where their expertise
Oh, the friend came with you to
one
open
of
up.
them. One of them came. So we then started Burp Kitchen and Bar there.
Was it like a partnership then with him? Like a
So the 3 of us, this 11 years journey was the 3 of us. The one who came.
To Payoh,
I see.
Sarah and myself. It was just Burp Kitchen.
Oh.
So when he ended at Toa Payoh, the partnership has been the Burp Kitchen and Bar came about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you guys are. And does your friend is he still in the industry today?
No.
Yeah.
So he started his own company in construction about 2 years ago.
Really pivoted.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what even back then when we were running. So Burp Kitchen, mainly operations wise, is run by the both of us. So he just says he settles like the administrative, the financials and all that. So he had a day job through these 11 years still.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So in the construction industry, it was only 2 years ago that he decided to leave that company and start his own. Yeah. So he was juggling both his day job and the F&B business.
Do you see a lot of that today, actually? Like a lot of people that are like passive investors and they're kind of just like
Plenty.
Yeah.
partially participating. Yeah.
Back then when when all the big cafes and bars were still upcoming, there was still a lot of interest of people wanting to open. We've heard of a lot of people. They said, hey, can you open one more outlet? And we asked them, what's your, what kind of investment are you
Yeah.
making? And it's ready with
10,000.
And we just, our response is, what do you want me to open?
10 grand, I was going to say.
Yeah.
And their point is, why can't you just, gather a pool of guys and then each one 10,000? To me, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You don't want to be answerable to so many people. If you want to be a passive investor, angel investor, then, you're going to have the capital for it.
Well, I was going to ask you guys, if you guys had to, restart today, would you advise people to go with a partnership? Because obviously one argument is that you can split the risk, right? Like you said, maybe not have too many partners.
Yeah.
One of my buddy runs a bar here with 6 partners, and I always thought it was a bit aggressive. Do you guys would advise that, or because it does lower the burden?
Yeah. In terms of business partnerships, you got to know, are they just silent partners?
Yeah.
Or are they going to value add to the whole running of the business? Because honestly, running this F&B for the past 11 years, it's quite impossible to do on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's really, front of house, back of house, there's the admin, there's the financial side, there's forward planning. There's too many things going on for you to, that's why Michelin star chefs also give up. There's no way to handle it all.
I've noticed quite a few closing.
So you really need trustworthy partners who have the same vision as you.
Yeah.
So in the 11 years, it was just the 3 of you guys.
It was just the 3 of us. Yeah. So.
Okay, so again, let's stick to 2015 and pre-COVID.
Yes.
What were the success factors? What brought the success to Burp at the time?
I would think so for us. When Burp, essentially, it's a concept of providing comfort food, and so I really like in America or Western culture, when you walk into a bar, that's where your servers greet you. Eventually, they build a relationship with you, right, a regular base. So that was what we wanted to do with Burp. So it's not so much about the food. Yes, I will sell you food. It was mainly more about the consistency. So every time you come, you know that your burger is going to taste as good as your previous visit. Your server is going to remember your name, what you like to eat, what you like to drink. So that was mainly the idea behind Burp. And that was what we went in full on, just to build that whole regular base. Yeah. So we just wanted to build that base because we know that in F&B, the only way you can survive essentially is from regular support, people always coming down and things like that. So yeah, it was mainly that, and then we slowly had to pivot out into doing marketing, bringing in.
Did you spend a lot on social media?
We didn't have fixed budget.
No, so we spent like Daniel Food Diary and all those Seth Louis and all that. Yeah, so we did work with 2 of them, Daniel Food Diary and Lady Iron Chefs. So back then they were charging 5,000 for just a visit. They will come down, they would try the food, they will photograph it, and then they will post it online. So 5K. So that was the most we ever spent, because this 5K, the runway would only be 1 month, 1.5 months at most. You would see a boom, a surge, people coming down because they read the article, and after that it would just taper off. Yeah, so mainly for us, it was more of just posting on social media and then spending money into boosting the posts so that people would actually see it pop up on their Facebook and Instagram. Yeah. It was just remaining at top of mind, Yeah. So brand recall and all that. So that was how our marketing really was throughout these 11 years.
Yeah, before we start recording, you guys talk about like building a regular base. And that's every restaurant owner's dream, is to have, not only do the average spend is a little bit higher, they tend to be like great source of referral, great source like building new business for you. But what happened to that customer base?
So
I think in terms of, brand loyalty in Singapore doesn't really exist because there's so many options.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think bringing it back to your question was, what Burp was all about is, we knew the margins was in the food side. Yeah. The profit is going to come from the food sales. Yeah. So all through the years, our business model was really about 50% of the revenue is going to be from food. 50% was going to be from the beverage side, and beverage was alcohol heavy. Yeah. So like, pint of beer cost price is $4 to $5 plus. Yeah. Depending on the brand of beer. Yeah. And we sell it for
10
to 15. depending. Yeah. So it takes you 5 to 10 seconds to tap beer. But our burger costs the same at $14-15. It takes about 8 to 10 minutes to cook.
Right.
Yeah. But the margins are much better for the food. Yeah. So we were very clear. We had this vision. Yeah. We had a very clear business model going, and it worked for the good 8-9 years. Yeah.
At its peak, like what do you think your monthly revenue was?
In the Bedok outlet, I think the highest was almost 90, and that was just 700 square feet space.
Yeah, like a 40-seater space. Yeah.
And at that time, your rent was what?
Okay.
We started, we were 9 years there. We started at 5,005.
Yeah.
And then the first renewal went up to 7,005. And then the last renewal went up to 8,005, thereabouts. Yeah. So the thing that kicked us out was when 8,005, he wanted to increase it to 14,000.
Oops. And this was a few years ago?
This was
last year?
2024. Yeah. So we were telling him that no, your space is not worth that amount of money. And also at that point of time, revenue was dwindling downwards. So the rent caught up to revenue. So it didn't make sense anymore.
Business experts, they would like to say like keep your rent between 15-20% at most.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you can see a lot of F&B in Singapore now opening up, closing. It's not really, I don't think it's the concept that is the issue. Yeah, because if someone, like a lot of people like to say rent is, that the high rent is the issue. Yeah. But honestly, it's the drop in revenue. Because if let's say you want to keep to a 15% rental percentage. Yeah. So if my game plan of opening in this spot, my target was to hit 100 to 120K sales. So I would go for a space that is 15 to 20,000 rental. Yeah.
Oh.
But so that's our direction was for the Bishan part of it. We ran for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the direction we were going. And we were very clear the how we're going to get the revenue. Yeah. So the moment the revenue drastically dropped, your rental then seemed is too expensive. The 15% will then become 30 to 40%.
Exactly.
Yeah. So usually I don't think high rent is the real killer. Yeah.
It's a shift in customer preferences. You walk around the shopping mall nowadays, Aston's is still doing fantastically well, which frustrates me sometimes. Mm-hmm. You have all these, like they're not mainstream players. I don't want to, like we mentioned Fish and Co before I started recording, but Swenson's here. Oh my goodness, you see the lineup there, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's a cultural phenomenon. I think people are willing to spend. It's always been one of my hypotheses. Still, I wanted to run with you guys here. People still have budget to spend. All right, they're still spending $20 at Shake Shack.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe
that's really one thing I don't understand.
I don't understand either. I was hoping you would explain that to me. But when it comes to lunch meals or kind of like the day-to-day meal, they're not willing to spend like more than $5. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, more like 10 now. But it's just something that's quite unique to kind of like it tells me that what the times right now are. When disposable income kind of dips, right? I have always theorized that people still have, they still prioritize what I call affordable luxury.
Yeah.
They'll cut back on major spends. So things like big ticket items, like maybe a huge family vacation, but they'll still go out and spend $50 per person at Haidilao. Does that make sense? But then to reduce, because of the lower disposable income, they need to cut back. So the way they cut back their average meal.
Yes.
So if you're positioning yourself as, I want to target that, like you mentioned before we started recording, the guy that comes all the time, 3-4 times a day, right?
Yeah.
Those people are now dwindling. The number of those guys who come, right? But the average family is still, because they're not traveling, because they're not spending like huge amounts on big ticket items, they'll still go out there once in a while to have we're right here, right by Surrey Hills. Have you guys been?
Surrey Hills, no.
It's Western cuisine. It's a Singaporean-based. It sounds Australian, but it's not. And you'll be eating a eggs Benedict for $30.
Yes.
Right. So how does someone explain that to me, right? So when people are saying, I think what you're alluding to is people are not willing to spend anymore, right? Well, they are, but it's in a very irrational way, and I don't know how to kind of figure it out right now.
Yeah. So like just now we were like before we were recording also, it's very trend based. Yeah. So the newest spot that hits town, everyone will want to go and try. Yeah. So after that, there's when the brand loyalty, where people, the customer retention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like for myself, my favorite Western hawker store, coffee shop store, I try to support it at least 2-3 times a week, as much as I can. Yeah, because I really love what they do. I love the flavors they give and all that. Yeah.
But how many people are like that? Let's say if they raise the price to like 30% more.
Honestly, I feel like my favorite Western store, they're charging too cheap.
Yeah.
So it's $7.90 for fish and chip or chicken chop.
Yeah.
And to me, it's so talking about this coffee shop or hawker fair. I really think as long as, because Singapore is a bit unique. Yeah, as long as we have this coffee shop option or $5 per meal kind of option, I don't think it's going to be very tough for cafes.
But they're subsidizing the rent of these places, aren't they not?
Not all coffee shops. So only the ones that are under NEA, those are subsidized. But actually a huge amount of coffee shops in Singapore are all privately owned. Yeah.
And they're still able to charge these prices, get the volume game going.
Yeah.
And so you're saying like it's just hard to get people to pay a little bit more. But what you're arguing is that maybe we should.
Exactly.
I mean, if let's say, because back then, like I said, running Burp, we had a pricing and business model. Yeah, so from 2015, we charged $14 for our beef burger.
I saw your menu. It's very, very reasonable.
To 2025.
The price didn't change.
Yeah.
So all the 10, 11 years of cost increase, manpower increase, we absorb. Yeah. So the thing is, if the chicken rice from 2015 can cost $3, and what it is today now at $4.50.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like very little. It's just $1.50 more. Yeah. But you talk about percentage increase. That's a 50% increase in your chicken rice. Yeah. But if you put it 50% to my burger, you'll be costing $21 now.
And you guys, I'm assuming you guys, of course, explored raising prices at the time.
Yeah, we did.
You got pushed back immediately?
Immediately. So the moment we update the menu and people come down, like for beer, they're so used to paying $10 a beer, $10. And then after Chinese New Year, we reopened, then they were like, hey, how come now it's $12? And we say we have to increase price, supplier increase price.
Blue Mist before? It's a bar in the Tanjong Pagar Plaza. It's one of the older HDBs.
Oh, okay.
Downstairs, block 2 or 3. I forgot. And same thing. They raised from like $10 a pint. They even had Guinness for $10 to like $12. And even I was like, oh my goodness. Because again, it's about value proposition here. Now you're hitting the point where, do I want to spend 15 at a or 17 at a Brewers, where I get to face Marina Bay Sands? So then the gap becomes a little bit tougher and tougher. So I don't know how you counter that. Now you have a night out. Let's say you want to go a little bit fancier.
Yeah.
And when I say fancy, I mean Hai Di Lao. You're going to go to Brewurst for a pint, which costs $17.
Yes.
All in, it could be $20. A lot of people are saying, why don't I just fly to Bangkok for the weekend? Let's say you're a group of friends.
Yes.
I think that's a whole topic. Yeah. I mean, traveling overseas. So that was one of the issues that really changed, and we really felt the difference post-COVID. Towards the end of 2023. Yeah. So 2020, as COVID started, the 2023 meet, there was a lot of lockdowns globally and all that. So end of 2023, that was when internationally everyone opened up. The vaccine and all that, everything is under control. Yeah. So Sing dollar being what it is, currency being strong, everyone goes overseas. Japan, Korea, Bangkok. Yeah.
And when you have such a small population, because I obviously, we could compare this, like everybody, like I come from Toronto, the bars there, they're also struggling. So the F&B scene is also struggling. But I would say when you have such a small population to begin with here, all right, that's when, even if you take 10% of the people out, right, it automatically becomes a very saturated market because the demand pool shrinks.
Yeah.
And when the demand pool shrinks, then I can now, as a customer base, I can look around and see who offers me $10 a pint for a beer.
Yep.
So there's certain market forces that are quite unique here. You can't overcome it, but you're gonna have to figure a way to, again, how do you convince the customer that you are a Shake Shack, where you are offering something that is perceived to be higher value, and that's something that's quite challenging. I'm guessing you guys are convinced that that's very difficult to do, and it's not something that's.
I think it's more of the consumer mindset. So Singaporeans are very price driven. They're very discount driven. So the only way to win loyalty is discounts, price war and all that. Where's the cheaper alternative, Like people would rather shop online and get something that is no brand versus going out to the mall and, So everything has pivoted to a very online space and very discount driven. So if you're not going to give me a discount, then why would I want to dine with you when next door they're giving, 1 for 1, that kind of thing. So this like 1 for 1 and free and all that spoils the market in a sense, whereby, and because Singapore already has so many F&B, as long as if you don't jump on that 1 for 1 train, you're just going to lose out to the one next door to you. And then you'll be looking next door, why do they have such a crowd? And I don't. But they are losing money in that sense because they're giving 1 for 1. But they would rather do that. And so the thing in F&B is all about cash flow. So as long as I can get the cash rolling in, I can sustain versus if I have nobody. Yeah, so I think that's the whole issue, whereby like we always joke that back then when we were drinking, alcohol prices were so expensive, but as a part-timer we were earning $10 an hour, $8, $5.
So.
But now part-timers are earning $15 per hour, $20 per hour, but your drinks are getting cheaper. Like you can go to bars that have $8 Guinness.
Yeah.
But they don't want to go out and drink anymore. Like we would kill for that kind of prices back then. Yeah. We spent so much money drinking last time, but now the kids, they don't want to drink even though alcohol is cheap.
I mean, they rather not have a social gathering with friends. Like, back then, every Friday, Saturday, we have to be out no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah. So for now, I don't know. I mean, technological advance is one thing.
Yeah.
Your Netflix,
bread. Yeah.
Don't get me started on that. Yeah.
Playing games and all that. Yeah. So back then, for us, every weekend, even
look at Club Street right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the whole like social gathering just died after COVID.
Clark Key is dead.
Yeah, that's why they had to do now that whole like extending till 4, closing the
grocery store.
road.
That's where you know times are bad.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a fair price inside
Clark
the
Key.
clubbing district. But that's also a global phenomenon. And as we said before we started rolling, I said I felt like the benchmark of like alcoholics here was a little bit lower already to begin with, and so the market was really tight. We bring up costs. This country is infamous for the expensive alcohol taxes and that. Could the government help by lowering some of these?
To be very honest, I don't think the prices of the alcohol is
not the determining factor.
So just so you mentioned about disposable income.
Yeah.
So you compare it to 10, 15 years back. People's salary and what it is today, it has grown. Yeah, it has grown quite a bit. Yeah, but the thing is, people are selective on what they're spending. And this is how I was mentioning about your coffee shop. As long as we have the local options, it's very difficult for anything else. And I don't know, maybe one way, it has to work on a very collective level. Because like Burp would have survived if your coffee shop food was going to cost anywhere between $8 to $10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my 15 to 20 would then seem, not too much difference from what hotel would be.
Yeah, the coffee shop's a good example. Like you see the like kind of like the more high end brands, like the more artsy fartsy type of coffee shops, are able to charge an arm and a leg, like Tiong Ho and Dutch Colony and all these. So that's another example of where I feel like if you're able to kind of position yourself as some sort of premium, I feel like there is still a subset of customers that are willing to pay. But I think you're right. That's a small, we're talking mainstream. I think we're talking majority, 80% of the customers. It's hard to justify these.
Yeah, I mean, back in Canada, Toronto, what is the cheapest like local? I mean, you guys don't have hawker there, but
well, you know what's funny is that Tim Hortons is our hawker. So over there, actually, it's you guys got it all wrong here. They market it as some sort of premium. Are you guys aware of that? By the way,
Yes.
People talk about that. Yeah. It's all fancy here. Over there is where homeless people hang out.
Oh,
So it's not uncommon to see a homeless guy just passed out in the corner there. But yeah, we do have it. And Canada's no different. In fact, we're probably like ahead of the curve in terms of like being more favorable to large corporations taking over the entire street. Every food court you go to, if it's not owned by McDonald's, it's owned by another huge chain, right? So in certain ways, in North America and Europe is already like a few years ahead, where none of the smaller chains can survive, okay? Because they don't have the scale. You know, even like in let's say the Vivo City or the Ion of Toronto, a little McDonald's stall, like in the food court. This is when I was still a student. Those are already 25,000 Sing a month, right? So how can a mom and pop compete against A&W and KFC? Right? So it was already kind of tough already. And that's what happens. Now you see very few of these like new concepts coming up. However, again, it's not like the market disappeared. It's kind of like income divide in society in general. It just means anyone that still wants to participate has to angle themselves towards the $10 latte, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then you still have the guys that are serving the Tim Hortons of the world, serve a $2 coffee. But okay, before we started rolling, I asked how optimistic you guys. What's your plans for the next step, sort of? And you guys are just saying no. There is no next steps right now.
Yep.
What would change your mind? Like, what would be like the kind of like a deciding factor or something that maybe perhaps it is something that the government does? What would be like something that would change your mind? When would you guys think is the right time to re-enter the Singapore market?
So this has been a topic that Sarah and myself have always been, we talk about it all the time. Yeah. So really what F&B industry needs right now is a hard reset. Yeah, and not just the industry itself, as a society. Yeah, so even the recent National Day rally, even our own CN, I align with what you said. Yeah, it's got to be a very mentality moving forward. So right now, it's a very self-centered mindset from everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like what Sarah was saying. If 1 for 1, I'm gonna try this. I never tried before. I don't know whether it's gonna be attractive, but I'm willing to try. Versus going back to what you're comfortable with. So it's for them, everyone, why I'm saying self-centered, it's they want to earn. They want to be in a winning position. Yeah. So until people change this mindset where, I don't need discounts to
Attract me. Yeah, so like during COVID, it was so everyone was all support local, that's where everyone were ordering from all your local brands and all that. But the moment COVID ended, everyone just like, okay, back status quo, Yeah. So that needs to come back. That whole support local, keep.
Do you guys remember when like Uber was still around, right? And this is when all the new entrants were coming, like Grab. I don't think I paid more than $5 for a ride. You know what I mean? And then obviously the market consolidated. That's kind of an example of a market reset that you need to happen. But again, it's difficult. Like I feel like you'll still have the bigger players that have deeper pockets than you guys.
Exactly.
And they're still gonna willing to do the 1 for 1 because they can survive off of it. It's not necessarily a re-education piece. You can't just like start teaching kids, you should go out more often. Although there are pods right now that are talking about that and how you have one side that talks about how alcohol is terrible for you, but then you have the other side that's saying, well, there's the social element.
Yes.
Yeah.
That people don't account for.
Yeah.
So I really feel it's sort of, things go in a full cycle. Yeah. So for us is our age group loves to go up. The few years older than us as well. We have to stay out all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the next generation, those in the
The joint is to be
20s right now. To them, there's a shift in their behavior. So I think the reset really comes naturally in another 10 to 12 years. For those who are kids right now, when they grow up, they will look at their seniors and like, hey, why are you so boring?
Yeah.
You're home all the time. Yeah,
they're joining running clubs. There's a new pickleball court opening every week.
Yeah.
So I think there's a shift in preference. People are spending, myself included, they're spending more money on their dogs, and then that also becomes a social element. We've met a lot of our friends here through the dog park and all that. So then I've been always trying to think about how do we angle ourselves, just like how there's always been these like cycling cafes kind of.
Yes.
Right. So how do we angle ourselves to like still kind of slide ourselves into people's changing lifestyles? I just don't think this whole anti-alcohol thing is going to shift anytime soon.
Yeah. No.
It's not something that, again, it's not something you can educate people on. If anything, they're going the other way right now, right? Because alcohol is a poison. I'm a big time drinker myself, and so I know I've scaled back quite a bit. So, and I always say if I've stopped spending $200 on a Friday night, and there's like there's a few of me, aka my boys, so I know it's gonna be rough out there.
Yeah.
And so I encourage them to go out. Let's not hang out at each other's home all the time.
Yes.
Right. If you don't support it, it'll be gone.
Yeah.
You weren't able to get a seat at some of these 20 Hong Kong streets of the world in Manhattan. You weren't able to get a seat a few years ago.
Yeah.
Now I can walk in. You're more likely to get a table. That's how tough time. What concepts do you see are working right now? Like, are any of your friends right now that are just starting off? That's something that's a little bit more fresh. That you see is new and working.
No.
It's.
What are your friends in the industry right now? What kind of cuisine are they more focused on?
One of our friends is in the local hawker side, and it's been
tough.
Family business.
And they do it.
Yeah.
It's stable for them. Yeah. So,
but I hear so much about hawkers also taking the heat right now. Is that right?
I think it will be
Not as bad as you guys.
because I don't know. Hawkers, the whole concept of a hawker is for a livelihood business.
Yeah.
But people are running it like a business where they have multiple outlets and things like that. But that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
So those who are lasting long, like family generation, family recipes and all that, they are the ones who are thriving in the hawker scene.
Okay.
Versus people who, there are always stories whereby bankers and all that, they experience fatigue and they want to come out into the F&B world. I think they have no idea what they're getting themselves into, and only a handful would survive, because then they realize that actually being a hawker is even more tiring and exhausting than working in finance. It's a different exhaustion, that you
I
experience.
think we considered before running like a hawker store or being in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. The real issue of that, it is a 24/7 job. You can't tell the coffee shop, your landlord, like, I want to apply. It's to pay your rent. You can close for 1-2 weeks, up to you. But your rental still has to be paid. So I don't know. That's why I always joke with her. Why do you think all the famous hawkers, their face are always so unhappy?
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are so fatigued, but they can't stop.
Yeah.
When is the right time to take a break for? There is no right time. Yeah. So you just work every day. Is just automated. Yeah. It's just the same routine. Yeah. So like back then we were running a hawker concept selling Taiwanese street food.
Yeah.
Our neighboring store was a fried Hokkien Mee. Yeah. So it's the red kind. For what we understand, their sales was more than 100,000 a month for a hawker store.
That's insane.
Yeah. But the owner himself, his face is so unhappy.
Yeah.
Because he stands there from 10:30 in the morning to 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. He drives a brand new Merc.
Yeah.
But it's just to get
I'm not surprised.
from home to the coffee shop, back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Does it have to be that way though?
Yeah. So that's why I say, where do we feel is the right time that, you know, we will consider doing F&B again? Is when there's a shift in the whole mentality of what the society can accept. I mean, if your bak chor mee, your chicken rice can cost $8 to $10, the hawkers wouldn't be needing to work 12 to 14, 16 hours a day. It can be more flexible in that sense. And it's not that we can't afford. Yeah, you know. So instead of selling, you know, for hawkers to break even, you're gonna target at least like, you know, 400-500 bowls a day. If you can double the price, the hawker doesn't need to stretch his hours. You can keep it to 6 hours. Yeah, 6 to 8 hours, like a normal office job. And you know, you will bring joy back to the F&B yourself.
That's what I was watching the OGS, and so I was saying before we started filming, they were following the hawker. One of the guys said he used to work reasonable hours. I think he closed at like midday. Now he pushes till 8 p.m. So he gives himself another like 5-6 hours or something just to sell 100 bowls. It says 100 bowls, even if I charge $5, most of that would go into my operational cost. Like the take home would be very minimal for an extra 5 hours of work. You're right. So, you know, I come from a place where there is no $5 meals. What? You have Tim Hortons, but most people do spend a bit more. We have a minimum wage, so that's one of the people always say, well, yeah, you have minimum wage. Actually, here now that because of the way the labor market, and you guys can probably share a bit more here, because the way the labor market is shaping up, it's actually not too far apart in terms of hourly wages here. 2,300, 2,400 a month for a lot of these guys is quite a, obviously, we gotta be careful how I say it, that's a lot, but it's expensive relative to what it was before. But like you said, customers are not willing to assume some of that extra cost. I don't know if it's still something that you can necessarily continue to educate people on, but you're right. I think it's about messaging to people to say, hey, this is, and that's why we're doing a lot of these conversations. I don't think we need to do probably 10 more of these, but it's to kind of tell people like, look, it is tough out there. Folks that are doing more like, I know I see a lot of coffee concepts working very well.
Talking about coffee concepts, so one of the reasons why Burp can't continue is really the drop off in the alcohol sales. You talk about coffee. Have you heard of the
coffee rave?
Coffee rave, matcha rave?
Yeah.
Makes no sense. How many coffees do you drink in a rave party?
That's crazy.
How many matcha lattes can you drink? I mean, like you said, alcohol is not exactly entirely healthy. But it's about the whole social interaction.
100%.
So yes, the main point is social interaction. Yes, you can hang out with your friends. You can drink at most maybe 3 iced lattes. But you talk about in terms of the perspective of the business, the organizers hosting 3 cups of coffees at most is $20.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why when we go out with my buddies, we have something called like a participation fee. So even for the non-drinkers, we're still gonna split the bill, not entirely evenly, but we're gonna give you guys a little bit of that. If we didn't come out tonight, right, then these bars would shut down. We're all gonna be hanging out in our living rooms for the next. So there is an understanding even before COVID that if you come out, you know, I get it. You're probably gonna order a Diet Coke. Like to your point, how many Diet Cokes? Typically, people don't order more than 2.
Exactly.
So that's going to be like at the most, like, you know, just $10 in revenue. But a lot of my friends did understand at that time, right? So you have people like me that are willing to order a bit more, and we're going to split the cost a bit more. That was something that wasn't taught to us. It was just something we understood. If you don't go out, well, I mean, at that age, we're looking out to meet people as well. So there's a social element.
Yeah.
But like I said, kids have other avenues right now.
Exactly.
Like I said, they're running clubs.
Day clubs, you know, ending at 11, 10, things like that. Yeah, that's picking up amongst the younger generation.
Laundry. Like one of my ex-colleagues in New York, they're starting one of those like laundry mats where it has a DJ in house.
There's one in Singapore that just opened recently. Yeah, similar. Yes, exactly. Concept.
Again, how do you survive off? I guess again, you're paying a few extra dollars for the laundry as well. But like what kind of revenue are you really churning out there? Right. So I don't understand. I don't know, the whole industry stuff. Like I come from a more like B2B, like catering background. And year after year, we're seeing like companies spend less on their employees in terms of large conventions, in terms of Christmas party. This was pre-COVID. Okay, this was just a lot of companies scaling back a lot of their expenses. Their discretionary expenses have also dipped, and that hurts a lot of business there. But how about the health food trend? Like this is something that I continue to explore. All these, like, if you walk around the CBD, there's probably like 6 different people serving a grain bowl. You guys ever explored something like that?
So the keyword right there is trend.
You don't see it surviving, or you see it so shrinking a bit.
At the end of the day, you can have 6. Yeah, like we mentioned, 6 options. But after 4 years, 5 years, maybe you're down to 2. Yeah. So at the end of the day, the concept is one thing. Consistency is another, quality is another. So there are many aspects to it. Yeah. So
actually, like for himself, just a bit of a side story. So he is diabetic. So we found out, because of running F&B. So it's all the late night suppers.
The wrong choices.
Yeah.
So one reason maybe why also that the consumer is shifting towards the healthier, part of it. He only eats 1 meal a day now. And he doesn't take carbs, so it's very protein heavy and all that. So for him, he is willing to spend on his 1 meal, $20, no issue. And the whole concept of healthy food, really, is it healthy? Because if you're still having rice or a rice bowl with protein and all that, is that really healthy versus your intake and your output? Like if you're going to eat a rice bowl that is carb and meat heavy, but then you don't exercise, this healthy food just makes you feel good for that moment. Like 100%. I ate healthy. But essentially, you can have chicken rice, same thing, it's just the whole perception of, it's healthy
100%.
Because it's, I don't know, quinoa.
I just don't think, I think this is where the government can step. I just don't think people are still aware of just how bad a lot of the stuff they eat
is. Yeah, exactly.
Go back to the question, healthy food trends. Who has been the most consistent for the past few days?
Daily cut.
No, McDonald's.
McDonald's, yeah.
So is it really healthy food? And there is a way forward. I don't think.
Do you have friends that still eat that kind of stuff often? Like
McDonald's?
Hawkers, like carbs.
Yeah. I don't know, because we are Asian, right? So rice and noodles is a staple in our diet.
For her, she tried to follow my diet. After 2-3 days, she'll crave rice.
Yeah. Rice is life.
Rice is fine, but when I go to the chicken rice, I'll still ask for the white rice, and some of them do have it where they don't oil it up a bit.
Yeah. But like for me, because I don't eat chicken rice often, so when I do, I want to go for the full experience,
That's fair. My in-laws, my father-in-law is diabetic, and I mean, they're not getting any younger as well, so I've been trying to like educate them. And look, the previous generation is like almost borderline lost, man. They won't change their habits no matter what you tell them. But the newer generation, that's why I ask. I feel like a lot of my friends still eat a lot of hawker food daily, and they're not like just eating fish soup or whatever, where they try to argue that it's a healthier alternative. But you still think so you don't think it's a trend, but you think it's a bit overly saturated at the moment for the daily cuts of the world to expand. It's an area I've been trying to explore.
I think it's really you got to find your USP, your unique selling point to any concept that you're going to open. Yeah, because you can easily copy somebody else. Yeah, but what is it that you will draw the attention from customers? Because like we know, there's so many options out there. Why you? Yeah,
there's so many of these like Italian restaurants opening these days as well.
Singaporeans love Italian.
Yeah, so just maybe for Singapore,
it's really strange.
We love Thai food, Japanese food, Italian food.
Yeah,
outside of our local thing. Yeah, so these 3 concepts are
as long as you open and you can do the food well, you get enough marketing, right? Your business will.
The Thai food is another area that's very frustrating, as you'll have the Nakans Nakon, is it?
Yeah, nakon. Yeah.
Where again, if they raise their prices to $15 a dish, they'll die tomorrow. You know what I mean? They're amazing, but
Yes.
if they raise their price to like $10 a dish,
So it's really very funny because Thai food, honestly, that Singaporeans gravitate towards,
yeah,
is honestly same as your coffee shop zi cha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like your fried fish. Yeah, just maybe just because they cook a little bit more chili or lime or something. Honestly, it's about 80% it's similar. But why Singapore locals gravitate towards I like Thai food, and they're pay a premium for it. Yeah.
a few, right? You have somewhere in between. I call it the Collins of Thai food is the Sanuk Kitchen.
Yes.
Sorry to those that. Sorry in advance. Yeah, it's not an insult, but it's playing in the middle ground. So it's actually more praising their model there. It's not super cheap. It's quick and efficient. The service, you're guaranteed to get your meal really quickly. They're able to churn people really quickly.
Yeah.
But the food's not like spectacular. But they are able. I mean, they do get a light up. So there is a market that's willing to pay a bit more. You know, in Toronto, like a $25 pad thai, people are still lighting up.
Exactly. Yeah. But in Singapore, can you charge that? No.
Yeah, but you're expecting to walk into an establishment that looks a little fancier, a little bit nicer in there, so it's more of an experience. So again, I've been trying to explore sports bars. The same idea, like there's I can't even name 10 right now on the top of my head. Like if you wanted to grab a beer right now to watch EPL, you go to Harry's.
Yeah. Top of mind, Harry's.
House. Yeah. Again, no disrespect.
East
Club
Coast.
Oh yeah. That's actually partially owned by. I could be wrong. I wish I can able to fact check. I think it's partially owned, or if not, supported by one of the EPL players.
I think it used to be. I think it
Use it Neville.
Yeah.
Or Neville or something. Yeah. Oh, it's not anymore.
I do. We have to fact check it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So funny you brought this up because we back then when after Bedok was about ordered 1 year in when we expanded to Tanjong Katong. So the second order we showed
EPL. Yeah.
Yeah. So the soccer games on weekends.
Yeah.
So we thought it's gonna be revenue generating.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we have full booking 1 week in advance, full house. Why do people come in? 1 basket of nachos with coffee.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
And they sit there the whole night.
Yeah, for 2 hours.
One game is 2 hours.
Yeah. And
At the very best, if timing permits, it's 8 p.m. game and then 10 p.m. game. So you get 2 rounds.
Yep.
This same fella will sit there for 4 hours with 2 cups of coffee. Yeah. After that, like I said, how many coffee can you drink, especially at night? Yeah. After his 2 coffees, it's gonna be soft drinks or ice water. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like even a beer, you would do 1 pint in the first half, a second pint in the second half. Yeah. Things like that. So even now, just recently over the weekend, I went to a sports bar at Kallang Wave Mall.
yeah.
First weekend of the whole EPL season, right? So they were fully booked. The waitress is like, oh, we are fully booked. You can take this seat. If they come, then we'll have to shift you elsewhere. I said, no problem. So when the menu game started at 11:30, it was full. Yes. So I take a look around. Half house, they're drinking soft drinks.
Yeah.
The other half is drinking a tower of beer between like 4 or 5 people. No, that's not enough. And the what you call this? The soccer licensing, right? The permit to show soccer back then in 2016 was already 10,000 a month.
Sorry, what?
Yes. So that's how expensive the licensing in Singapore is to show soccer. It's 10,000 just for 1 screen. So if you have multiple screens, you are supposed to pay more.
I can't just subscribe to StarHub and show it on TV.
No, you need a commercial.
Yeah, it's the commercial arm of it is different. It's a
Yeah.
different bit.
10,000
a month.
a month.
Back then,
Back then.
that was
So it could.
10,000.
So this is probably more today. You're saying
Probably.
to have the rights to show per
sports.
screen.
Yes.
Well, obviously they might have a discount for the second.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes by size as well. So the bigger your screen, the more you pay.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah. So when you see that cost of 10,000 that you add on to your operating cost, and then people come and drink coffee, right?
It's frustrating.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not about not enough. Have the soft drink. It's not right.
Well, that's why my wife doesn't drink, and so she's always like telling the bartender or the waiter, "Hey, I wish you guys had kombucha." Like that's always her first thing. Say, "I wish you guys had kombucha."
Yeah.
I'm like, "How many are you drinking again?" It's the same thing. And so she knows, like, I give her a participation fee as well. So when we go out, I always order extra few glasses of wine, especially if she invites 2 other friends and there's a table of 4, I drink even more because they don't drink.
Yeah. That's really nice of you.
Well, it still works out to be 1 glass each.
To take that into consideration. Yeah.
And, our group of friends, everyone's relatively high income. I mean, it's not a income issue. They're spending bucket loads on trips to Japan like multiple times a year.
Yes.
I work with a lot of most of my colleagues are overseas.
Yeah.
And they're still like, oh, I heard it's the most expensive city in the world, right? I said it is, but it isn't. Like, because you can get by really, really cheaply. Like, and maybe that's wrong. Like to your point there, right? But do you think the market would just correct itself, like in a year's time, where all these players? I mean, you guys are one of the casualties here, of course, but eventually, even the bigger players are going to be like, the margins are not good enough for us. Now, I assume a lot of these larger guys, the restaurant groups, they have margins that they need to keep up to distribute to their owners as well.
Yeah.
So, do you see like a scenario where eventually they're going to lead the way and kind of people are going to realize they can't just walk into a Collins and expect to pay 15 and then they're expected to pay $20?
Singapore is really a bit unique because, like you mentioned, it's one of the most expensive cities in the world. But at the same time, there is the affordable side to Singapore. Yeah. So how this happened is also because as a country, being so young, 60 years old, we just passed, we progressed so fast.
Yeah.
The speed of progress is, expedited. Yeah. So your question is, will it correct itself in 1-2 years time? I don't think so. Maybe in 30-40 years time. Yeah. So it's all down to the upcoming generation. Let's say you always say kids are our future.
Yeah.
Yeah. So until the point where like just now you mentioned in Toronto, pad thai is $20 to $25. In Singapore, I don't think people are willing to pay more than $7 for it.
Yeah.
And pad thai is the same thing. It's rice noodles.
Yeah.
Just cooked with Thai recipe. Some fish sauce and sugar and all that. Why is it $7? Or your char kway teow or $3.50? Some people don't even want to eat.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I always ask my mates, like, how come we don't have hawker centers? Like, why do other countries don't have the same concept? We do. We have food courts. They can still get by on $10.
Yeah.
$10-15 at McDonald's. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like like I said, minimum wage is no longer an argument. Toronto is $17 an hour, which seems a bit high. But once you do the math here, it's not that far apart. Labor here is not that far apart. But like I said, people have options here.
Yes.
What you guys mentioned before we started rolling, that if you were to enter, you would explore outside of Singapore.
Yeah.
What other concept have you guys thought about?
I think we will still stick to what we're familiar with, which is to do like burgers and tacos, just to bring it somewhere else, like maybe somewhere in Thailand. Initially we were thinking about Bali back then, but now Bali is just and the prices are similar to that in Singapore anyway. Just that the whole reason why we want to explore doing it overseas mainly is because it's of sort of retirement plan, going back again to what we wanted to retire with. So it's more of
A lifestyle.
yes, exactly. And just to get away from all these, and also because in all these other countries, like Thailand and Indonesia, the operating cost is low for sure. But the thing is, the people there are more willing to work in F&B because that's their livelihood, And when foreigners, even as Singaporeans, when we travel overseas, generally we are in a better mood. We want to spend and things like that. So so why keep it here? I'm just gonna take it out and go over to somewhere in Thailand where when the tourists come, they're in a better mood, they're not always complaining, they're unhappy, they're on holiday mood, they're willing to spend more. And then my cost of living is lower. So, the dollar goes further overseas.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of our friends here, yeah, is considering kind of like I don't know if you guys gone to Spain before.
No.
They have like what I would describe as a daily cut but on steroids. Like it's like I guess Surrey Hills is sort of like that, but it's a healthy concept, but it's a restaurant concept. So it's the waiter come over and take your order and all that. The decor in Spain, they have multiple locations it's called Honest Greens. And he wants to take that concept to Bali because people over there, there's a bit of a culture there for the health nuts.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of these expats, I don't know if the labor trend has changed there, but the digital nomads are still around. But assuming they are, then there's still that disposable income. People are willing to spend, like you said. There's some concepts there, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're, not very hopeful for the next, for you guys here for the next 6 months. What advices would you guys have for the new entrants coming in that are passionate and they have the?
I think first is if you still want to enter F&B in Singapore, don't be too ambitious. Yeah, because back then in 2015 when we had a game plan. Yeah, we wanted to really
Multiply.
Yeah. We recognized it was a numbers game, quantity game. We wanted to multiply the outlets. Yeah. And if we just take it slow and steady, maybe the path would have been different. Yeah. Yeah. So for anyone opening, whether it's hawker, coffee shop, bistro, restaurant, I think at the end of the day is taking a step at a time. Yeah, because if you're too profit driven, it's gonna bite you.
Yeah. And you guys have do you guys have friends in the industry right now still that are feeling the pinch, but they're holding out until, like, I guess my question is, do you think there's people out there that see this still as a phase? Not to mention the economy is not exactly as strong as where it needs to be, right? So I think we haven't really discussed that yet.
I think it's...
You have friends that think it's just a phase and they're just going to ride it out.
Riding it out is one thing, but whether your pocket is deep enough to ride it out is another thing. Yeah. So even for us, if we could have ridden this phase out, we would have stuck it out, as long as we could. But eventually, the scale starts to tip a little bit, and then it doesn't make sense anymore. So even if we want to ride, you can't. There's no more wave coming.
At least for these 11 years, I think the last 4 or 5 years, every 6 months or so when we during our meetings with our partner, we ask ourselves the question, should we continue?
Yeah.
Or should we just... It's been 4 or 5 years. Actually, when kopi, that was it was a wake-up call to us. So when we expanded to our Bishan, the last outlet that we had, the biggest outlet, it was really a make or break.
Yeah.
We started out.
Yeah.
And then there's like the perfect storm hit with all the different factors. So the first year of Bishan was really good. It justified our decision, throw it all in, go all in, one last push. Yeah.
Have you guys ever, I guess in your 11-year journey, where you actually said, oh, okay, well, the menu right now is not working for our customer base, the customer preference are changing, and you completely just pivoted? Did you ever, because that's one thing I don't really see often is like you have a couple of these new restaurants opening up. It's like dead in the first few weeks, right? But they're so stubborn, or at least they feel like it's just going to take time for the market to kind of like, is it weird that I don't see a lot of like kitchens here that really just, they're like, okay, it's not working. I'm just going to completely change it. They rather shut down. Like, did you guys ever have a scenario where you felt like, oh, crap, maybe we should do Mexican instead?
I think so. When we started the whole idea of Burp Kitchen, it was burgers and tacos.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
So burgers and tacos were our direction. So when we first opened in Bedok Reservoir Outlet, the first year, every customer was coming in, they were just us. That's all you had.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What? That's the bread.
Yeah.
That's what it was all about.
Yeah.
Comfort food, fast food.
What were they expecting? Some Asian elements?
No, like, your standard coffee shop
Yeah.
Western. So like, oh, no chicken chop,
Oh my
no
goodness.
steak, no fish and chips. So we had to educate people. And then people started coming in like, no pasta. Do you have pasta? So he had to go and squeeze out this concept of pasta, but make it burp.
Yeah.
And then put it into the menu just so that, people have a familiarity. Yeah.
But I would you say that's like a good business practice to always, we can call it innovate, but it's really just adapting, but without gravitating too far away from your original vision, because
yes,
then you become like, you guys been to Phuket where every restaurant has to serve everything, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I'm guessing, judging by your tone here, that's not the right way to go about it, right? So
They should.
how do you find that balance between, the guy that says I want chicken chop in?
Yeah, which is exactly what you said. It's more of hearing customers' preferences and finding a way to do it, but still keeping the essence of your brand. So a lot of our menu is basically like Western, Asian fusion kind of thing. So when people wanted pasta, we had to make sure that, okay, if we are going to do pasta, we would have at least one or two that is of Asian flavor.
Yeah.
So that's where we came up with like the tom yum pasta, the chili crab pasta. So things like that where it's still, I'm catering to what you want, but I want to make you try something different, which is what we are. Yeah. So businesses should do that, even if it's not a whole section in the menu, maybe just one item, a month special, just to test it out. And like, hey, people like it. Okay, maybe we'll put this in the menu and we'll remove something. So actually, F&B, you can't just open on day one and then do the same thing for the next 3 years. You really have to keep innovating or, updating yourselves according to
That's what I love. Like
preferences.
traveling around the world, like any restaurant that has a set menu, sorry, not a set menu, but they have a menu that's more rigid, right? That's and then they have the daily specials where it's a little bit printed.
Yeah.
And it allows the kitchen to also be a little bit more
Creative.
well, because they try to push the specials onto you. I always thought it's a brilliant strategy. But yeah, I just always kind of curious if in any of your at any point in your 11-year journey where you're like, maybe we should just do what Sweet Chun does.
Not a complete 180 shift, but we did it in bite sizes. Because there were times where we took certain things off the menu because they weren't selling. And then the customer will come back, why you remove? Where did my favorite taco go, And be like, you haven't been here for 6 months. Nobody's ordering that. The moment you decide to remove it, people will come back and ask for it. Yeah. I feel that.
I think that for F&Bs, it's really not too, the menu shouldn't be too extensive. Yeah, it should keep, our mistake was, we sort of had a misdirection. Yeah, so we were thinking, okay, more menu offering means I'm going to cater to more people preferences and all that. Yeah, but end of the day is you can keep it good, keep it small, like maybe 8 to 12 items max. Yeah, and keep it consistent. Yeah, so how maybe customer retention is, like Sarah said, specials or just revamp every quarterly that 2-3 items on the menu that don't sell. Yeah.
We haven't touched on quality, so let's spend a little bit of time there. Do people care?
Increasingly, yes. So what we've heard from a lot of our customers or our friends is one reason why actually they don't want to go out and eat anymore is because everything is the same. When you go for, let's say, brunch, if you go to brunch for any cafes, they all serve the same thing. Eggs Benedict, breakfast, yeah. So, and because it also sort of relates to the manpower in the kitchen, so it comes hand in hand. Basically, offerings are similar everywhere. So it's really just where you want to go that day. And because a lot of our F&Bs are not owner operated, so the people running the kitchen, essentially, they would be just staff, right?
Yep.
I'm here to do my job. So the food obviously will have a difference in taste versus a owner operated and a business operated place, right? So we have had few people come by and they not to toot our own horn, but they came and then they say, it's been so long since I had food that is flavorful. Yeah, so a lot of places where you go, everything just tastes salt and pepper. Everything tastes the same. Yeah, so it then becomes which then relates to consumer spending, right? So why do I want to go out and spend and get subpar food? I would rather go out to somewhere and spend a bit more and know that I'm guaranteed the flavor, the experience, and everything.
That's one comment I wanted to make is I don't feel like a lot of restaurants I've been to that really convey that message, like aside from a Michelin restaurant. But where I come from, even like the $25 main course type of restaurant, like they still, go out of the way to explain to you where the carrot is from and that the chef, has X amount of experience and is very passionate about this, like whether it's through their social media or whatever. And I feel like there still needs, you're never going to go to Collins or I keep hitting on them, the Astons of the world. I'm just so furious that they're successful. I'm sorry. Like, it just bothers me. It makes me boil. And my in-laws love it, right? We still go. But it frustrates me because the ones that are doing, the mom and pops and the more family-owned restaurants like you guys, right? A lot of them don't. I feel like still they don't convey that message enough for people to understand, like, hey, this is what you're paying for. I'll give you an example. Like in Toronto, one of the most successful pizza parlors, it's called something on the... Again, I've been removed from my own country for way too long, so I can't think of the top of my head. But their pizza's good. It's definitely above par. Everything, the ingredients, and they have a whole story behind like the process and then the people that have. But the thing that sticks out the most, and the reason why they draw the biggest crowd, is because they're like, we don't pay any of our staff anywhere under $20. So that's I'm just pointing that out because it's an example of where, because they put that out as a differentiator, right? And people are like, oh, okay, then I'm going there to support. Obviously, the quality has to be there, right? Let me ask, like, can you guys even name one restaurant that's, again, top of your head, an establishment that really presses on whether it's treatment of the ingredients, whether it's the sourcing of the ingredients, whether it's the treatment of their staff, right? That's not Michelin. Okay, I don't want to. Obviously, all those guys would justify the $300 price tag, right? Right. I don't think there's that many.
I think that
not that.
the answer that you're looking for to the question is about quality. It boils down to what my previous idea is right now. The issue is a too self-centered mentality. So you talk about where does quality matter? Does the brand story? Does the ingredients, origin of the ingredients matter? Honestly, nobody gives you that.
Yeah.
It's all about value versus quality. Am I going to, come out, it's like you mentioned the pizza place in Bay Canada. If you tell a Singaporean customer, I'm paying my staff this price, their response, that's your problem. How cheap is it? What discounts are they going to have for me? Yeah. But it's a full circle. So, post-COVID, like rental prices increase. That's one thing. Yeah, and it happens. It impacted the residential side as well. So landlords, Singaporeans who are property investors, they are so happy. Like, my rental is gonna fetch this price. Like HDB, last time a common room in the HDB can cost anywhere between 500 to 600.
Yeah,
thereabouts. Post-COVID is right now is 800-900 bare minimum. Yeah, landlords are happy.
Yeah,
and they receive the rental, the room rental. But who are renting? Let's say my chef who are renting this from 600 increase to 800. The $200 is going to come from me.
Yeah.
My chef is going to come to me. Boss, my room rental increased price. How? That's what we experience. And then the 200 will come from the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. But can I
translate that cost to the
transfer the cost to the
employer?
To the card? Yeah.
We were in Cebu last year, and the server at the hotel buffet was telling me that he was working in Singapore for many years, but he can't get back in because they weren't issuing. This is probably last year, maybe 2 years. I lose track of time, but he can't get in because they don't issue as many S passes. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah.
So I know the answer to this already, but I'm still gonna ask it. Why is the government doing that? It's to support local wages to rise.
Yes, exactly.
But in doing so, you're hurting small businesses. But they're weighing the pros and cons here to say, well, no, we're gonna use, we're gonna, between the two, we're gonna support, helping the lower income families earn more money at the expense of small businesses. Does that make sense? I mean, is that kind of like is that the rationale of the government here? We're not criticizing here. It is what it is. It is what it is.
I mean, at the end of the day, government are not the ones running F&B.
Yeah.
They don't know what it is to be on ground. That's why. They are just trying. They're really just trying. It's trial and error at this point now. Yeah. So is there a real solution, an immediate solution? I really don't think so.
But also to your point about rental is that there are, can you help me validate this? Like, it's not like the landlords are having a tough time renting out these spaces here, right? Some giant conglomerate restaurant chain from China will swoop it up right? So in some sense, that there is no incentive for the government to step in because in theory, this is a free market forces here, like it is what it is kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the only way they're supporting right now is like, upskilling, reskilling, sending your full-timers for, part-time courses.
Yeah.
So they supplement the wages that way. Yeah. So they are trying to support. That's why I say right now it's all trying.
Yeah.
There is no one solution that can solve all the F&B problems right now.
Well, but I think like for F&B industry specific, the whole mindset about people who work in F&B needs to change as well. So if you speak to like the older generation, they'll say, oh, people who work at F&B are dumb. They have nowhere to go. That's why they end up there.
That's what my dad says.
Yeah, exactly. But nowadays, people who run F&B or work in F&B, they can be degree holders. They just may have. So, for example, we had a part-timer who was a student at NTU. She graduated with a degree in mathematics. Yeah. So her parents wanted her to go further that, but she told her parents, no, I want to work in F&B because that's my passion. So she forgo all that and go work in F&B. So I think there needs to be a shift in the perception of people who run F&B, work in F&B. It's not it is a dirty job in terms that
it is challenging.
Yeah,
it's made progress.
But it's very it's too slow in terms of attracting people to come and work in F&B because like quotas, foreign worker quotas and all that, it's pegged to the Singaporeans that you hire.
Yeah.
So if I can't hire Singaporeans, then I can't hire foreigners. So that's where the manpower crunch comes about.
Yeah, I mean the whole issue of F&B right now is really to solve it needs to be a multi-pronged approach. And it needs a good 8 to 10, 12 years for it to correct itself. Because like Sarah said, the mentality, why do Singaporeans not want to work in hospitality? Because it's 10 or 12 hour shift. I mean, so it brings me back to my point. If I can double my price and people, like we know, it's not that people can't afford. People can afford. If I can double my price at half my working time, if F&B is 6 to 8 hour work shift, I think it's attractive.
Yeah. Like in Australia, their cafes operate till 5. And everyone has minimum wage, everyone is happy, work-life balance. I can go home after work. Even though I work in F&B, I can still have time with my family.
Yeah.
I think that's what we should work towards, that kind of a lifestyle.
Because they're like, oh, but that's why their fried rice is $25 over there. And
so it's
it's a trade-off that people just need to come to terms with, that as a tier one, I call this place tier 1 cities right up the world. This is something that you can't continue to have $3 coffee shops. Yeah. I mean, this sounds weird saying it, but it's I mean, obviously we need to be a little bit more mindful that a lot of families still can't afford it. So I get that, but we're saying for the people that can afford it, you guys are now. What's your, if it's not moving abroad, what other ideas are you guys exploring in your next stage of your career right now? Or is Southeast Asia more or less shoe-in?
So for us right now, we are property
agents.
Oh, okay.
We're real estate agents. Yeah, so we've been for the past few years actually. We're never able to fully commit on this side. Yeah, because back then why we went ahead and get this license was also we knew that there was gonna be a end date. Yeah, there's gonna be the finish line for us because it was too tiring. Yeah, I mean all the wrong life choices, the diet choices and everything. It all added up. Yeah. So
Were you a lot bigger?
He was 10 kilos heavier.
I think at 13, 14 kilos heavier than I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we knew that
It wasn't something that you were gonna do for life.
Yeah. Even if it was for life, it wouldn't be fully like I say, wouldn't be here. It would our plan was always to go somewhere else. And
I mean, let's talk about F&B. I mean, F&B is doomed globally.
Yeah.
I'd rather bleed money and face a beach, Phuket or Bali, and bleed my finances.
Yeah,
At least I bleed happily.
we're exploring too.
Yeah.
Like honestly speaking, my wife and I are both exploring to move to a city, what we call tier 2 city. So if we put Bali as like the super low cost tier 3, tier 4, we're like, let's find something in between. So like a tier 2 city in the States or tier 2 city in Europe, where we can perhaps still find a job that's probably some boring back office role, a white collar role for a bit, enough to sustain ourselves. Doesn't have to be super exciting. But then once we're settled in, she wants to do a yoga studio because she teaches on the side. She works in finance right now. And then for me, I was like, it's like you guys are kind of angling towards is there an F&B opportunity somewhere where they don't have a Chinese restaurant or something? So, and there's plenty of these cities where
exactly, yeah.
That's what we're thinking about right now. But it's tough because, and I applaud you guys because we're like, we don't want to give up the paycheck, the steady paycheck. We don't want to give up the comfort. My wife grew up in a really tough environment where her mother and my mother-in-law was really hard on her and I think it's a Singaporean story, I call it. Yeah. Where, it's all about grades, it's all about excelling, and it worked. The tiger mom mentality really worked. But now it's hard for her to come to grips with like letting it all go. I just put like 30 years of my life into studying and making it all the way to where I am but she's not happy. And so like I think a lot of people,
that's the majority of
that's a lot of people, yeah.
Majority of our age group. Yeah. That's really what's happening. Everybody is fatigued and burnout. But like you said, they're not willing to give up this comfortable paycheck.
Really? Well, it doesn't help when we hear stories like you guys are.
So
I was really hoping this conversation would turn into like, don't give up.
Yeah.
You look at the camera like, kids, don't give up.
So there's one thing my dad always told me, like back when I was an Air Force regular, he told me, one thing is, what's your day job and what's your passion? Yeah. So day job pays the bill. Your 8 to 5 pays sustains your life. Yeah. But after 5 p.m., what happens that gives you value, the extra value? So, something to look forward to every day.
Well, it's hard when the thing is, the reality is, and I work in a company where getting off at 5:30 or 6 p.m. is not even possible. So we talk about this at work all the time. How do you expect the new generation to have purpose when they're getting home at like 7 and then you grab a quick dinner at the nearby shopping mall or something and you get home by 8 and then you go to sleep at like 10. And this doesn't count the people with kids, right?
Yeah.
How the hell do people have a second life? I know I have the flexibility to do this, not during my normal work hours, but I have the flexibility because I work from home, but a lot of people don't. And I think that's why a lot of people, my friends included right now, they're like, it's like a state of apathy, I call it. So they're just like, it is what it is. I'm not super passionate about my job. I'm in my mid-30s right now. I've been doing this for 10 plus years. It's not like I can pivot to a new career path. I'm not going to be a programmer. Not that we all want to be programmers now with AI, but the point is they don't feel like they can even take another turn. You guys were able to do it. I mean, again, the argument is if they were here, and I'm going to argue on their behalf, so you guys did it early when the opportunity cost wasn't as high, blah, 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 right? Whereas I think right now people are at this part where they're getting pushed because now they're hearing on the news, you know, that all these jobs are going to be eliminated. All right. But I haven't saved it up yet for retirement, so I'm not going to quit. I can't rotate to another industry or another job right now because the job market's garbage. So, part of having these conversations is to, to meet people like you that have gone out there, have taken a bold step, right? Now you're talking about moving to another country. There's another lifestyle reflection. There's another viewpoint.
Yeah.
I just don't think a lot of people here have that mentality because you're always taught to be a little bit more risk averse. The government's not here to have a social welfare program that's set aside for you, right?
Yeah.
It's every man for themselves. So, one of the things that, I'm a huge sports fan, right? So I watch a lot of basketball, and people are like, well, it's too small of a market here. It's never going to happen. But I think if you don't have certain programs in place, never mind I just talked about working late hours, but one of the things I always say the governments can do to support, whether it's F&B, whether it's to support the music industry. I think we saw the projector just close the other day, and all these people are complaining. I'm like, but you guys didn't even support it. Is to make it so that, give an example. Okay, so where I come from in Toronto, the film industry did not exist like 10, 15 years ago. And so what the government said, like, we want to make Canada or Toronto an area where a lot of businesses can start filming and producing these Netflix shows, like Handmaid's Tale, I think was made there, The Boys. And so how do we do that? We're not anywhere close to being the next Hollywood. I don't think we don't have the talent. But what we're going to do is that everyone wants to produce a show. We're going to pay 90% of the cost. And so next thing you know we have a whole studio production. It kind of helps that the infrastructure kind of looks like the States. So when they're filming, it kind of looks like they're in New York already. So there's certain geological things out there an advantage. But my point being is I think Singapore is at the stage right now where it's a tier 1 city.
Yep.
We can continue to invite Taylor Swift over once in a while. But we can also start to buckle down and support these industries, the Cirque du Soleils of the world. And the way we can do that is, I use the example of, what's that swimmer?
Joseph Schooling.
Yeah, Joseph Schooling, right? He should be the foreman for saying, like, hey, guys, let's make this the number one place for people to become professional swimmers. I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah.
Right? I use that example because all you need really is a swimming pool. Right? But we provide a lot of incentives so that this is known. If you're the fastest swimmer in Thailand, I'm not going to go to the U.S. because he trained in the U.S., right? And that's an example, right? And it frustrates me because if you don't have the infrastructure, they're going to be incentivized to go overseas, right? And it's the same thing with F&B here, right? People have, like you just kind of mentioned, they have such a negative viewpoint on chefs because there's no program out there to kind of promote these things. There could be a innovation funding pool of some sort that gives grants to students to pursue
a career in culinary.
It could be. I'm just like thinking out loud. I've always said this to my wife. It's like there are things that you can do to tweak it. And I think this is what I would do. And I'm not going to try to make this political in any way because I'm not even a PR. So they can kick me out for saying this. But it's just suggestions because as we move on, as the economy evolves, Singapore's now at the pivotal stage where what if half these roles get eliminated? What if a lot of these back office roles? The economy is not dynamic enough so that everyone can become a Cirque du Soleil gymnast all of a sudden. We can't become a Joseph Schooling and start swimming. But you can start preparing for it, just like how Canada built a film industry, right? And these are things that I feel like it's government intervention. But I just don't know. Maybe am I getting this wrong? Like, do you guys have friends in the art industry right now that are thriving?
Nope.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Right?
I think the support, whether from government or as a society, is very trend-based as well.
Yeah.
So back then when we were in our polytechnic years, uni years, our teenage years basically, and young adulthood, it was very into the music scene.
Yeah. Local music.
All the rock, all your local rock bands and everything was the up and coming thing. Like, music was everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, 5 years on, it's like
Everyone had to get jobs. So music took a back seat.
Which impacts F&B.
Yeah, and which also which goes back to the point where you're talking about, you know, the government supporting the local scene and all that. So that there's just isn't enough. You like sports, right? So in Singapore, S League is because the government doesn't, you know, invest much. The people don't even see value in our local team.
I don't think it's that government don't want to support.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, it's multi-factor all the time. Yeah. It's, if the support is given, is there someone who's going to champion it and see it through? Or is that guy going to give up and run out of fire next 3-4 years? Is that guy going to be the one fronting it and pushing it on for the next, 10-20 years? And even if he does, someone who is so passionate with the commitment, someone going to shadow him and take over him after that. Because at the end of the day, energy does burn out. Yeah.
Well, it burns out if people don't see it as a viable career path. And you just mentioned that F&B wasn't viable for people that are entering, like you said, music industry or whatever it is. Yeah, if you don't provide people a career path, and I still don't really fully buy that. Oh, because it's a small population, which is true, of course. That's obviously a factor, but it doesn't mean, like I said, going back to the swimming analogy, it doesn't mean you can't make it that this is where the best swimmers in Southeast Asia, right, come to train. And that creates jobs. Like if similar like what we're doing here, if we can somehow make podcasting and a little bit more affluent as well, it creates jobs. If I can hire someone right now to help me do all this stuff on the side, right? So there's always like these programs that I think about that governments can do a little bit more. And in much of the same way, it's about sharing ideas, right? This is something that I've seen happen back home, because in Canada they value a lot of these industries. When the Raptors do well, that's our basketball team over there do well, right? Or our hockey. Hockey's a huge sport over there. My dad does exceptionally better. Like, we are so dependent on the sports team doing very well. But that's another a great example of the interconnectedness, how these industries do kind of connect each other. You're not going to change overnight that people come to watch the game and only order a Coca-Cola. But still, if the industry was huge, then there's going to be more chances for a couple more winners. Yeah.
It used to be like that. Yeah. So like last time at Chimes, the whole row of bars, they were show. So I think it was like a collaborative thing. So it was a big projector screen, and it was just massive. Every weekend is fully booked from 6 p.m. all the way to past midnight. Yeah. So it used to be like that. So that's why I said it's a multi-factor, a perfect storm that hit. Where we have streaming platform. And look at the cinema business. Yeah, I just watched a movie the other day. There was like less than 20 people.
If you were a student that's graduating in today's context, like in the next few years, what advice do you guys have for someone? Put aside the F&B side, yeah. What kind of advice would you guys have for people that are just entering the job market today?
I would say don't be so fearful of the next step that you're going to take. So just whatever opportunity comes your way, just take it and then grow from there. So nowadays, job hopping is not taboo anymore. You can go in there for a year, maybe you don't like it, you can switch to somewhere else and all that. So just go in with your eyes wide open, with an empty mind, and just see what you can learn from there, because there's a lot of people are afraid to take the step, because if they commit to there, then they'll find it hard to pivot. But honestly, in today's society, you can do anything that you want to, but as long as you just try.
Do you think that it is the trend is turning though? You think students are a little bit more open than when we were coming through, where everyone seemed to be kind of funneled into this one path? Do you think it is changing? All these kids are like, let's be YouTubers instead.
Yeah, I think the kids nowadays, they want to get rich quick.
Yeah.
With minimal effort, things
or
like
they just
that.
want to lie flat.
Yeah, or they're just really afraid to commit to something, and then they get stuck. down this road. So they instead they decide to wait and look for something that is perfect. But there is nothing will be perfect until you try something and then you know, okay, I don't like this, I will try something else. I don't like this, I'll try something else, you know, until you find what you like. Because honestly, I don't think kids nowadays, or even sometimes people our age, we don't even know what we want to do in life. We just got stuck there, and then this is life, you know, this is what we're going to do, and then we are unhappy. So I think that's what the younger generation are afraid of, ending up like us, you know. Or you just, after you graduate, you work and then you get stuck in there. So they are afraid of commitment, you know. So I think just try.
Which is a good, it's a good mentality to have. Yeah, they see us like, like I said, I call it the state of apathy here. But they're also entering a new workforce where all they're seeing on the news is that their job might not be around. So I don't know if I'm envious of them, but at the same time, there are going to be new opportunities.
Yeah.
And again, you live in a country where the cost of living is a little bit higher than usual, and I think that's always going to be something to take into consideration because you still got bills to pay. But in Singapore, I find that at least the culture you guys have is people are okay staying at home for a little longer.
Yep. Stay with the parents. Not moving out.
Parents don't chase you out. It's not like you turn 21, no, out you go.
I left when I was 17.
So Asian for Singapore parents, if you want to stay till 40 days.
Yeah, if you can get married and move your whole family in with me, even better. You know? So.
And are you guys getting a little bit personal? Are you guys planning to have kids at any point?
I know. So kids are not on the table for us at all.
Yeah, we're 50-50 as well. And I think that's another thing that's also another trend that we're noticing here.
Yeah.
People want to pursue their own passion first. Yeah.
And it's more of mobility. So it's easier to uproot our life because of the lesser commitment that we have here, right? Yeah. And just go wherever we want to.
That's a global phenomenon. And I know, not to try to tie this to F&B, but it does. Like, the fact that some people would argue that it is a little bit more selfish, that people want to kind of spend more on certain things. They want to spend their time on certain things rather than the traditional methods. I think all these are things that we can't control. And I think this is where we can perhaps kind of close it off. But
yep.
Any finishing thoughts that you wanted to share with the audience?
No, I think for myself is that whatever path anyone walks, like new graduates and all that, don't think too much about money. Don't be too ambitious and all that, because it really comes with judgment. Yeah. So I don't know. Really, just be happy. Yeah. I mean, the talk of the town right now in this current day and age is mental health.
Yes.
Yeah. So chasing the dream, really got to weigh options.
Yeah. Well, the mental health comes in because of comparison. I think you're living in a country here where the income divide is off the charts.
Yeah.
Like the average family will more likely not be able to afford a car. Never mind a condo with a swimming pool, right? I don't buy this place, I just rent. We can't afford this place, but that's the reality. Is that I think people are quote unquote depressed. I don't think that's always a word that's thrown away a little bit too casually.
Yeah.
I think you're depressed, but you're feeling a little bit uneasy because you see on Instagram that people are traveling all the time, and meanwhile you're like still eating at the hawker center. You're only able to save a few grand a month still, which will take you ages to afford the down payment for anything in this world. So I think,
but you see, that's the funny thing, because of social media, that we have this competitiveness or comparison security complex. Singapore statistics is 75 to 80% of the population stays in HDB. But why do we keep looking at condos? Why do we keep comparing? Because social media enables it. Yeah, I mean, nobody's gonna stay in HDB and be like loud and proud, like, hey, I stay. I mean, look, other than that $1 million HDB, maybe. Yeah. But you just think back to your school days, in your class of 30, 40 packs. How many are already on social media and posting about their proudest moment?
Well,
everyone is really majority are still just getting by day to day.
Yeah.
So it's really don't like you said, don't compare. Yeah.
which is hard.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. I still do it every day, unfortunately. But I always say, like, no matter how much you spend, we all kind of go to the grave with a condo and a BMW. It doesn't really change a whole lot.
I mean, I don't know. Like for me, I listen a lot to Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
Like Gary V.
Yeah.
It's really like, what's your own purpose? I mean, like even for when we ran our restaurant, I try to impart, even though there's quite a fair bit of Malaysian trippers, we're not very conversant in the English language. I try to impart or share a bit of wisdom on having certain core values, which I try to keep within the company. And as well as I always try to remind them what is their purpose in being a chef or being a manager or being a waitress, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I sort of spin off on Simon Sinek's the why and all that. So I put it into my own perspective, and I try to always remind my guys of why they are doing it.
I 100% agree. Like in my office, like I think one of the things that was kind of lacking, I work for an accounting firm, so I guess you can see where I'm going with this one, is that we're just generally not the most creative people on earth. But I'm not saying creative from the arts sense. I'm just thinking like the way you view life. Like a lot of these people are just so like one-dimensional. And so I said to all my younger folks now, I'm like, if you're not like pursuing any type of passion, I'm not asking you guys to write your CFA and go do your MBA. Or you can do that if you want. But I'm saying if you guys are going home right now and just watching Netflix all the time, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's the community aspect as well. I think this is this is where we can kind of wrap it up. But the F&B, this is the role we've always played. We started this conversation talking about like how we used to go out, and this is how we kind of met new friends and connection like that. This is kind of where it is important to kind of keep these cultural components in place. Mm-hmm. I hope that everyone that's listening can kind of reflect on kind of what they value in life. Understanding that life is not smooth sailing. Everyone still has to work till 7 or 8 p.m. sometimes, and that makes perfect sense. But one thing that I always think about is like my wife today's a Friday, and she'll be like, "Oh, I'm exhausted." I've seeing some of the friends, some my friends. It's always when she goes out with my friends that it's tiring. And so if it's not worth her time, she won't go. Because she said it's not an enjoy. Like, what kind of mentality is that? I can say that because it's my wife. That's just not. And I know she's not the only one that thinks that way. And I get that. We're out there in the office all the time, Monday to Friday, and so you're already probably out socialized to a certain extent. But just want to say thanks for you guys for coming, and hopefully we can keep in touch. Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah.